Right now, there are thousands of NRIs whose PAN card is technically dead. It still exists, the number is still theirs, but the system has switched it off and they have no idea. The day they try to sell a property, redeem a mutual fund, or claim a tax refund, they hit a wall. And the worst part? Most of them panic and do one of the two things that make it worse. They pay a penalty they never owed, or they apply for a brand new PAN, which is actually illegal. So in this one video, I will give you the complete NRI PAN playbook, who actually needs one, why it matters so much, and how to apply from anywhere in the world even without an Aadhaar. And if your PAN has already gone inoperative, don't worry, I'll show you exactly how to fix it later in this video for free, without a new card, no half answers, no vague advices, just the full thing. So let's get into it. By the way, I'm Nikhil. I'm a chartered accountant by profession with nearly 2 decades of experience with EY, PwC and one of India's top wealth management firm before launching my own startup. And this is Finicky, where I simplify money the same way I practice it. So what is a PAN card really? PAN stands for Permanent Account Number. It's a 10-character alphanumerical identifier issued by the Income Tax Department of India. The cleanest way to think about it is this. It's your tax identity in India, permanent, unique to you, and linked to most of your significant financial transactions here. And here's a detail that genuinely reassures people. The PAN is built to last your whole life. It does not expire, it does not change when your status changes. Got your PAN as an Indian resident and later become an NRI? The same PAN continues. Take up another country's citizenship down the line? Still, the same PAN continues. You never need a second one, and in fact, holding more than one isn't allowed, which can be confusing for many NRIs. We'll come to that later. Now, let me clear up the single biggest myth I see. Having a PAN doesn't make you a tax resident of India, and more importantly, it does not create any tax liability by itself. Your residency is actually decided by the tax rules, broadly how many days you spent in India in a year, with an extra few conditions on top of that. Not by whether you hold a PAN. The PAN is just an identifier. It lets you comply when you need it. It doesn't on its own put you on the hook for anything. So looking at all of this, do you as an NRI actually need a PAN? Strictly speaking, there's no blanket law that every NRI must hold a PAN. If you have no financial dealings in India at all, you can actually live without one. But the moment you have any real tie to India, the picture changes fast. Think about the common situations. You want to open an NRE or NRO account. You want to invest in Indian mutual funds or stocks. You are earning income from India like rent, dividends or interest. You need to file a tax return. You're buying or selling property. You're applying for a loan against an Indian asset. In some of these, the law technically lets you sign a Form 60 if you don't have a PAN. But for an NRI with ongoing ties to India, Form 60 is a short-term patch, not a solution. In practice, many banks, fund houses, and counterparties strongly prefer and usually insist on a PAN. Now, why does it matter this much? This is the part that surprises people. Let me show you with a real scenario. You own a flat in Mumbai and you are renting it out. Your tenant pays you say about 60,000 a month as rent. Under the Indian tax law, the payer has to deduct TDS before paying you. Here's the practical problem. If you don't provide a PAN, the tax deducted from the rent can jump sharply and you can lose the lower treaty reduced rate you would otherwise be entitled to. So more gets taken upfront than necessary, and then you have to spend months trying to recover it. Mutual funds? Most fund houses will simply reject your application without a PAN because of the KYC rules. It's not a negotiation. And property is where a lot of NRIs get caught off guard. When an NRI sells property, the buyer has to follow a completely different tax process than for the resident sellers. Your PAN is central to the whole transaction. Without it, delays are almost guaranteed. Now, beyond all these movements, the PAN is what lets you claim refund. If excess TDS was deducted, the only way to get it back is to file an ITR, and for most NRIs, you can only file an ITR with a PAN. It's also what unlocks treaty benefits. India has double taxation avoidance agreements with over 90 countries like the US, UK, UAE, Canada, Singapore, Australia, to name a few. So, you may not have to be taxed twice on the same income, but to claim that, you have to prove your foreign tax residency with a tax residency certificate, file Form 10F, and your PAN ties it to the Indian side. And finally, it keeps you clean. Financial activity in India with no PAN puts you in the grey zone that eventually becomes a problem. Now, before I show you how to apply for a PAN from anywhere in the world, a quick favor. If this is useful, hit the like button, and if you see the hype button on this video, tap it. That's what pushes this out to more NRIs who are actually stuck with a dead PAN or losing money to higher TDS and don't know there's a fix. 2 taps from you and someone who needs this actually finds it. So, how do you actually get a PAN from outside of India? Good news first, you don't need to be physically present in India. The application starts online from wherever you are. And this is where a lot of NRIs get confused because the rules change in 2025. So, let me clear it up one piece at a time. First, Aadhaar. From July 2025, Aadhaar became mandatory for new PAN applications. But the rule is aimed at residents, not NRIs. As an NRI, you're not required to obtain Aadhaar, and a foreign citizen can't get one at all. So the no PAN without Aadhaar line you may have heard does not apply to you. If you don't have Aadhaar, you simply declare that you are an NRI without one and use the document route. If you already hold an Aadhaar, you add the number to your application. Second, the form. And the rule here is citizenship, not residence. If you are an Indian citizen, including an NRI who still holds an Indian passport, you use Form 49A even if you have lived abroad for 20 years or more, whatever the timeline is. But if you're a foreign citizen, which includes most OCI card holders or legacy PIO holders, you use Form 49AA. Get it wrong and the application can be rejected at scrutiny. So be clear about it. Third, where you apply. There are 2 government portals. The Protein eGov Technologies, formerly known as NSDL, or UTI Bank's portal called the UTIISDL. Both work from anywhere. Now let's get to the process itself. If you have Aadhaar, the Aadhaar OTP route is faster. But the instant same-day ePAN you may have seen is only for Indian citizens with an Aadhaar link to an Indian mobile. It's not available to NRIs. Without Aadhaar, you will use the document route. Fill the form carefully because your name, date of birth and address have to match exactly to your documents, or it gets delayed. Pay the fee, which is nominal, though an international courier of physical card costs more. And then courier the attested copies of your passport and an overseas address proof to the processing office. I'll put the full document checklist and a couple of filing tips in the description. Your ePAN then arrives by email, and an ePAN is fully valid and accepted by banks and for property deals. So basically the physical card is optional. You can track it on the same portal where you actually applied. Now the part almost nobody explains. Your PAN going inoperative. Let me tell you about a situation I've seen play out more than once. An NRI sits down to file a tax return, expecting a refund. Instead, he finds his PAN has been marked inoperative. His first instinct? Apply for a new PAN. And that is exactly what he should not do. Here's the mechanism behind it. The income tax department system treats every PAN as resident by default. After the PAN Aadhaar linking deadline, it automatically marked every unlinked PAN as inoperative, and it couldn't tell who was genuinely an NRI. So, thousands of NRIs who were actually exempt from linking because they don't hold an Aadhaar got anyway switched off, simply because they'd never told the department they were non-resident. An inoperative PAN is painful, refunds get held, TDS gets deducted at a higher rate. So, if this happens to you, here's the fix, and notice what is not. If you don't hold an Aadhaar at all, you don't need to pay the penalty, because for an exempt NRI, this is a status mismatch, not a violation. And you don't have to apply for a new PAN because a second one is illegal. Instead, you do 2 things. 1, log into the income tax e-filing portal and update your residential status to non-residents in your profile. Then raise a grievance under the PAN Aadhaar category stating that you are an NRI not eligible for Aadhaar. Uploading your visas and overseas address proof is important. 2. Update your address on the Protein portal to your overseas address, removing the old Indian address. Once it's processed, the PAN is made operative again, usually within few days to few weeks. And while you are at it, move your PAN's assessing officer jurisdiction to the international tax jurisdiction. As a resident, your PAN sat with a local officer. As an NRI, it should sit under international taxation. Your CA, or you can actually do it on the income tax portal itself. But if it is too much to manage, take help from your CA, and honestly, these shouldn't cost much. One important caveat: if you do already hold an Aadhaar, this exemption doesn't apply to you. In that case, you may actually need to link it. So check your specific situation before assuming you can skip the penalty. Now, a few mistakes that quietly cost NRIs. First, the duplicate PAN. I have seen cases where parents applied for a PAN when their child was a minor. Years later, the child moves abroad, forgets PAN ever existed, and applies for a fresh one. Now there are two PANs attached to the same person, and what should have been a simple application turns into a compliance problem. So, before you ever apply fresh, check with your parents. Holding more than one PAN is illegal and carries a penalty. And if you find out that you had an extra PAN, surrender it through a specified form declaring your primary PAN. Second, name consistency. Your name spelling and order have to match across your PAN and passport. Interchanging your given name or surname or any spelling slip is enough to cause a rejection. Make your documents agree. Third, this one's for married women specifically. The form has a father's name field and database tracks father's name. Don't put your husband's name there. Enter your father's name. May sound basic, but these are common mistakes. So, what does a PAN actually give you? Beyond everything we have talked about, there are two benefits most NRIs only discover when they actually need them. First, a PAN opens up investing in India. Demat, equity, mutual funds, SIP, even investments in a minor's name, all of which need a PAN for KYC. And second, it makes moving your own money back overseas a lot smoother because repatriation, especially from an NRO account or after a property sale, runs through tax paperwork like Form 15CA and Form 15CB, which has to be certified by a CA. And that whole process leans on your PAN. So, for an NRI, the PAN isn't just another compliance document, it's your primary tax identity in India. It's what protects your refunds, unlocks your investments, smoothens your property and banking, and keeps your repatriation clean. And remember those two myths we busted right at the start. It does not make you a resident, and it does not create liability on its own. So, if you don't have a PAN yet and you have any financial interest in India, apply from anywhere, even without Aadhaar. And if you're not sure whether you already have one, check with your parents first. And remember the situation we started with. If your PAN has gone inoperative, don't panic, don't pay a penalty you don't actually owe. And definitely don't apply for a second one. Just fix your status, raise the grievance, and get your original PAN working again. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions about the PAN application process or anything else about NRI finance, do drop them in the comments. I read every single one. That's it from me. I'm Nikhil. Subscribe to learn how to make your finances less tricky with Finicky. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.